Hello and welcome to our news broadcast here from Canal Algérie. First, the top stories of the news. Beledna delegation in southern Algeria for an inspection visit before launching the milk powder production strategy meant to ensure Algeria's food security. The sports festival goes on in the capital Algiers, a real opportunity to instill the spirit of sports practice among citizens heavily present on the event venues. And Gaza always counting its dead, savagely killed by the Zionist war machinery amid terrible humanitarian conditions. And the Mediterranean Film Festival in Annaba is enchanting the moviegoers with films and debates relating to the cinema industry. Welcome back again. Those were the top stories, and now the news in full from Canal Algérie. After signing the Algerian-Qatar agreement to produce powder milk, a delegation representing the Qatar company Beledna headed for southern Algeria to inspect the situation and opt for the adequate measures before production process likely to ensure Algiers' food security. More insights with both Ayman Hanafi and Melissa Kabash.
With its fertile lands, exceptional water resources and favorable climate, the region of Timbuktu, located in Adrar province, is endowed with an industrial agricultural system that makes it a strategic region able to ensure cattle breeding and the production of milk powder. Following the signing of an accord between Algeria and Qatar, the delegation of the Qatari company Beledna inspected the chosen sites to achieve numerous projects while examining the successful agricultural models of the region that reflects the availability of the necessary conditions for investment.
We're happy to be here in Adrar. Honestly, we've been surprised by the level of the services granted by the public authorities. As for the fertile lands of the region, they will allow us to establish more projects in the future.
In addition to its economic results, notably the reduction of the imports bill and the creation of wealth, this important project also has an important social dimensions, such as the creation of job positions for the region's youth.
After inspecting the field, the Qatari delegation were very satisfied. The establishment of this project is a good news for Algerians, especially for the region's inhabitants.
This project is a great opportunity for our region's youth, as it will generate 5,000 direct job positions, decreasing remarkably the unemployment rate. We are very optimistic because the province of Adrar is witnessing a new economic dynamic.
Algeria aspires to achieve food security via various cooperation and partnership agreements with brotherly country, another bid to spearhead progress and prosperity throughout the country.
Still in southern Algeria, particularly in Timsim, now the venue of several projects, notably railways, a real driving force for local development in this province, so far starving to narrow the process gap with the other regions of the country. Melissa Kabash, once again.
The railway linking the province of Tisimsil to Bourgzoul is deemed as a boon for both provinces, as it allowed them to discover new horizons and enabled their inhabitants to comfortably travel.
It was very difficult to come to Tisimsil province. I came from Sila, and before we used to take taxis and other transport means to arrive here. But now we thank God the train made it so much easier.
The services provided are of good quality for the traveler, especially those coming from Sila province.
This is such a good initiative. It made it easier for us to come to this province. We don't even have to ride taxis anymore.
We can now travel by train in full security. The service is very good and everything is clean.
This railway opened up the province after a year and helped nearly 25,000 citizens have used this comfortable way of transportation.
Tisim-Silt Railway doesn't only allow the improvement of travelling conditions, but also creates a suitable investment climate in the region, striving to narrow the development gap with the adjacent provinces.
Still with domestic news, the sports festival goes on in the capital Algiers with the heavy participation of athletes. This sporting event is meant to instill sport practice widely among people as a means to maintain health and to let steam off to reduce the daily pressure and cope with the strained modern life. Leticia Safrawi has more to say in this report.
A sure skating enthusiast, Beb Zouar is now the place to be. Thanks to the new skate park of around 1,000 square meters, much to the joy of lovers of rollerboards and BMX.
I started in 2006 at the age of 6 years old. I only practiced with my parents, but in 2011 I met the skating lovers and started learning the discipline techniques.
Another sport that requires major concentration is available here. Climbing, practiced by both the amateurs and professionals, a specialty gaining a rise in popularity in Algeria. Before making their way to the highest mountains, many train here at these walls.
I have been practicing this sport since the age of 12 years old. Slowly, I started taking part in competitions and delving more into this world.
Our next destination takes us to Al-Harrach water banks, where the space was carefully rehabilitated to cater to the athletes' needs in a unique atmosphere that adapts to the different sports.
On a profité de cet espace et de cet événement très important. Alors on a programmé.
We took advantage of this space in this Paramount event to schedule, under the high patronage of the Algiers Town Hall's Directorate of Youth and Sports, these 7 competitions in parallel to both boys and girls. At the end, winners will be declared champions of Algiers.
Il y aura les lauréats qui seront des champions de championnat d'Alger.
I want to thank the Algerian Federation and League for having organized this excellent tournament for the youth. It is an opportunity for us to gain more experience. The capital is hosting since the 25th of April the first edition of the Algiers Sports Festival, a major event that aims to promote open-air sports.
Now to a sad piece of news. The friend of Algiers revolution, Bayad Hamoun Bon Briod Andre, passed away following this painful ordeal. The War Veterans Minister extended his heartfelt condolences to the family of the deceased as well as her struggle companions and friends. On the international scene, the Palestinian women and children seem to be the favorite target for the Zionist war machinery, making this noble mission of the medical staff more complicated, since they keep transferring these brave people to hospitals already packed with wounded or out of function, according to our correspondent Wissam Abazid and our desk reporter Leticia Sadqawi.
It has now been over 200 days into the genocide taking place in Gaza. Medical teams are still trying to save the wounded in mortars day and night. Here, many children were murdered by a Zionist airstrike on Rafah, south of the Strip. 4 other massacres were committed by the occupation in the last 24 hours, claiming 43 lives and leaving behind 64 wounded.
We received many injured, 9 of which are in a critical state at the level of the hand, chest and neck. Their lives are at serious risk.
Victims are still under the rubble with their breath running out, such as this baby stuck under the ruins of what were once homes of Palestinians in another crime perpetrated by the occupation in a Nusayrat camp. After tireless efforts by civil defense teams, they managed to rescue her alive but traumatized from this heinous crime. As the Zionist threats of a ground incursion deep in Rafah are rising to commit more crimes, official reports indicate that what was thrown on Gaza during 200 days of the aggression exceeds 75 tons of explosives, thereby completely destroying 86,000 housing units and partially destroying 300,000 units, while claiming the lives of over 42,000 Palestinians. I do not think that there's a place in the world where this amount of explosives were used in a span of 6 months. There's a threat for a ground incursion in Rafah. This is a great concern to Palestinians here. This is a major psychological concern for the people in these already dire circumstances. The Zionist mass massacres on Palestinians in over 200 days are countless, urgent and necessary international intervention before the occupation army go through their plan for a ground incursion on Rafah.
Back to Algeria, Annaba is the destination of cinema professionals and baths as it is hosting the Mediterranean Film Festival. After the opening ceremony, it's time now for movies screening to the great joy of Annaba inhabitants and moviegoers. In Escalou puts us on the red carpet to meet stars and delve in this amazing world.
Palestine featured prominently in the 4th edition of the Annaba Mediterranean Film Festival. In addition to the competition, this year's films are presented to the movie professionals and buffs under the title Viva Palestina. Among the films on show are Vibrations of Gaza, Rehab Palestine by Bilal Al-Khatib and Amin Naifa.
طبعا الجزائر هي بالنسبة لنا كفلسطينيين هي بلدنا الثاني. يعني أنا في بلدي موجود.
Of course, Algeria for us is like our second country. I feel like I'm in my country, Palestine. We try to convey our message throughout the stories we tell in films. I came to this festival to promote my short movie of 10 minutes under the title of Al-Ubur, which tells the story of my life, real events that actually happened.
أروي هذه القصة للعالم يعني. هي فيلم قصير مدته 10 دقائق.
أنا إلي 40 كيكة واقف بس فتت أخو المطبلي رجعني. إذا بدكم تجربوا جربوا. واخد.
Amin Nafi's penultimate film, 200 Meters, also won 25 awards worldwide.
فيلم 200 متر كان فيلمي الروائي الطويل الأول وهو فيلم يعني بيحكي قصتي أنا.
The movie of 200 Meters was my first production, which tells my story and the story of thousands of Palestinians dispersed due to the apartheid wall. There were people living on this side of the wall and their families, wives, children on the other side of it. So the story talks about Mustafa, who lives 200 meters away from his wife and children. It's unfortunately a real story.
وهذه قصة واقعية للأسف.
In addition to that, a press conference on Viva Palestina and the entire program will be held this Sunday in the presence of all Palestinian directors and actors taking part in this festival.
An event not to miss indeed, and we wrap up our news with this guided tour to a prestigious house in Laghouat province. Our destination was visited by prominent figures. Therefore, its rehabilitation is a must to preserve our history and identity. More details with Badia Marni and Ineskel.
It's a blue house at the heart of Laghouat province, the last of the Arab Moorish style in this Algerian town known as Dar Bou Amr. Built using local construction materials, this old house is a melting pot of culture and history, a valuable addition to the tourist industry.
Cette maison, c'est un patrimoine familial et patrimoine.
This house is a family heirloom in an Algerian heritage of Laghouat province. This house was built in 1840s and has a long, rich and fascinating history. In fact, it's a twin sister of Aziza House in Algiers, located in La Casbah.
Sœur jumelle de Dar Aziza à Alger qui est à La Casbah.
It is said that this house in the form of a palace was built to accommodate a bride from Algiers who was accustomed to a lavish and luxurious life. Made up of one floor, Dar Bou Amr consists of 4 courtyards: Dar al-Irkhama, Dar al-Diaf, Dar al-Hammam, and Dar al-Khadam, or servant's house. This building was subject to several attacks that threatened it with complete destruction.
Cette maison, elle a été faite parce qu'il y avait un mariage, c'est la famille Ben Salem qui ont construit cette maison. Et elle a pris
This house was built for her bride as her dowry. It was the Ben Salim family that built this house, and it took almost 8 years to build it using local materials from Lawat province, except for the mosaic, which was bought from Algiers in 1948. This house was attacked several times. The entire El Gharbiya district collapsed. This house was the only one remaining of that blast. The French occupier wanted to demolish it, but the intervention of the French architect Pouillon turned down the decision.
l'ingénieur Pouillon, qui s'est opposé, architecte Pouillon, il s'est opposé pour la destruction de cette maison.
This building is the memory of many historic events and received many prominent figures such as Farhat Abbas in 1948 or again the Tunisian Monsef El-Bey, Mohammed Bouras and Al-Idris Al-Jazairi, the grandson of Emir Abdel Qadir.
We've taken several measures to classify the house as a national heritage site. Once refurbished, it will be turned into a museum.
Darbu Amir is a tale to be narrated to future generations, a heritage to be preserved, especially since it is the only house of this enchanting style that deserves to be rehabilitated due to its paramount historical importance, either locally or nationally.
With this, we come to the end of our English news. Tomorrow, another day, other news. Keep tuning to our channel. Take care and bye-bye for now.